celebrate our students and our staff. Yes, yes. May I have a roll call, please? Here.
Here.
If you all would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we'll have a moment of reflection. All righty. Next is the mission statement. All righty. The Newport Independent School District will partner with families and the community to nurture, educate, and instill core values in all students to ensure they reach their fullest potential. All righty. And let's see now. Recognition, presentation, Mr. Watts.
Just before we go forward, Mr. Watts, I'd like to make a motion that we take an exception for Aaron Sutherland and I think Steve Dax.
Okay. May I have a second, please?
Second.
It's been moved in second. All in favor? Aye. Yes.
I'm sorry.
All right, well, we're going to start tonight out with our teacher and student of the month. So, we'll start with the primary student.
I'll start with my student of the month, Reagan Gibson. Come on down and stand in front of us. So Reagan is in Miss Powell's class, and she is in 7th grade. And Miss Powell said that she is a leader in the class. And we have really three main expectations. One is being safe, being responsible, and being respectful. And basically, she set a great example for all students in our building. And we're really excited reading and just modeling for all students. The other day, Reagan was walking down the hallway. She did not go into the wall, but walking down the hallway in the morning, reading her library book. And just setting that example for what we want all students. And I started getting out a new award for Paul reading in our building, and Reagan was at Paul reading. So she's just an example for the primary school. So please congratulate Reagan. Stand right here, look this way, look at the medal. That's the medal for you.
Well, thank you, Katie, for modeling education excellence. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Reagan. Way to go. Madison Herner is our music teacher. This is her second year at Newport Primary School. You would not know that Madison's second year, especially with like classroom management. I was in it earlier this week. Students, absolutely perfect. The other thing is, we'll talk about improvement. She's constantly growing in this area, especially communicating with parents. I've seen those homes, and not just like random those homes. She started this process like every day. She identified the students where it's like incentivize what she wants in the classroom. She sends that out home to students. Also, we have a Start Family Banner Day in September. She taught 312 K through 2 students Start Family Banner in about 3 days. Extending that. And then Nikki, our assistant principal, had this great idea that we should also do the Star Spangled Banner in sign language. So Madison taught herself sign language to go on the Star Spangled Banner. We can do that as well. So she taught herself that. Like we're going to do it too. So please congratulate Madison. Thank you.
Congratulations again. Next up, have the intermediate school.
All right, we will start with our student of the month as well, Brenna Reinhardt. All right, she is a third grade student in our building. She is Miss Scanlon, Miss Skinner, and Miss Long. And her teachers say she always has a smile on her face and a positive attitude. She works hard and is always willing to help out all of her classmates, no matter what, and her teachers. It is a privilege for us to have her in class. She's always going above and beyond to ensure she is following all of our board expectations, no matter where she is. So we are lucky to have her. And our staff member of the month is Mr. Mannion. So Mr. Mannion is our art teacher at the intermediate school. This is his second year with us. So ironically, he's going through the program to be a teacher. So he's not certified technically yet, but we're getting close. We're close. But you would know. That's the best part about Mr. Mannion is that you wouldn't even know it. He builds incredible relationships with our kids, and that's something that has really helped him be successful in the classroom. And I wish Ms. Stewart was in here because Ms. Stewart is telling me, like, it's an elementary school, Ms. Michael, make sure it looks like one. It's 10. So all of the credit goes to Mr. Mannion. He has really turned our school around and ensured that it looks like an elementary school and that it has the feel and that welcoming environment. And it's really showing off what the kids are working on in the classroom and all of their hard work. And they're super proud. So they'll say, hey, look my artwork or whatever, being hung up. So he really puts a lot of his own time and effort into making sure that it's the best learning environment for all of them.
Newport High School.
Our student of the month is Enrique. He's also a great babysitter. He had somebody very unhappy for a few minutes. Enrique, senior Newport High School, always has a positive attitude, except for fast mom. He most recently has accepted the role of collective distributing himself on lots at the beginning and end of each school day to assist the admin team. Enrique pursues learning new skills with enthusiasm because he never complains and willing to do whatever is asked of him. Enrique is a perfect example of student of the month.
Great job.
Come on, Ricky. Our staff member of the month Bert Ritchie. Mr. Ritchie's certainly not new to Newport. This year, Mr. Ritchie's taking on the new role in behavior intervention classroom. When kids come into his room, he makes sure the behaviors are addressed and reflected upon. Mr. Ritchie has a unique way of addressing each student and helping each child succeed. Mr. Ritchie holds the students accountable and to a higher standard while they are in his classroom. Bert's an initiator who sees the need for improvement and works at the system until it is well overseen. Mr. Ritchie is a great rapport with not only the students in HS but also the staff. The administration please have Mr. Ritchie on staff and thank you for his many contributions to our school.
Well, this concludes our presentations. Thank you all for coming and showing your love and support for your students. And I always say that you are the reason that we're able to do this, because we could not have these students being successful if it wasn't for your support and your partnership. Being a parent of 4 children that graduated from Newport High School, I know it takes a partnership from the families and the schools for our children to be successful and be their best selves. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for supporting. We're going to go on with the meeting, and you're welcome to stay to learn more about what we do and how we do things. So, but I just wanted to let you all know we appreciate you, and we want to give a round of applause to the family for being here and all the support. Don't go. But thank you. Yeah, yes.
If I may have everyone's attention before you leave, everyone, don't forget that November 5 is election day. And there's a very important issue on the ballot this year, Amendment 2. It is designed to give money to private schools and take money away from public education. They're having to circumvent 7 parts of our state constitution in order to enact this. So a vote no on Amendment 2 is a vote for our schools. The way I ask as an individual, as a resident of this city in our state, and a supporter of public education, I ask that you all please vote no on Amendment 2. It's a vote for our schools. Thank you.
Well said. Okay. Any comments from the audience? All right. Next on the agenda is the review of our superintendent summative evaluation, the 23-24 summative evaluation. According to KRS, the evaluation of the superintendent is done in closed session. However, once the evaluation is completed, it is presented to the board, and the board approves the evaluation. And once the board approves the evaluation, it becomes a public document, and we are required by KRS to read this document. And so I'm going to read the summative evaluation. And it says the Newport Board of Education completed and approved the annual evaluation of Superintendent Tony Watts on September the 25th, 2024. The evaluation system used was designed by Kentucky Department of Education and adopted by the Newport School Board via a unanimous vote. Performance levels. The following designations will be used to indicate the progress of a superintendent toward the 7 standards and their indicators. Exemplary is the standard, and it said exceeds the standard. Accomplished means that he meets the standard. Developing means makes growth towards meeting the standard. Growth required is the last standard. And we, as the board, we have in the past evaluated Mr. Watts on all 7 standards. But going forward, his focus is on standards 1 through 5. Standard 1 is strategic leadership 2024 evaluation. He was assessed at being accomplished at this letter in strategic leadership. This standard says that the superintendent creates conditions that results in strategically re-imaging the district's vision, mission, and goals to ensure that every student who graduates from high school is globally competitive in post-secondary education and the workforce and is prepared for life in the 21st century. And so in our evaluation, we found that Mr. Watt has made an effort to do this. We did set goals for him in 2023, but due to the length of this document, I'm not going to, read all of it, but I will hit some of the highlights. It says that the superintendent worked with community leaders, daycare centers, and staff to develop a plan to address kindergarten readiness in Newport. The superintendent attended the Law and Finance Conference, finance sessions at KSBA, and this was one of the goals that we set for him and asked him to strengthen his expertise in finance. The superintendent articulated rationale for the tax rates based on school finances and other reasons. So these are some of the comments and things that we felt that helped him score to be accomplished. He met quarterly with members of Read Newport and other community organizations to discuss district data. The superintendent partnered with local colleges, universities for the purpose of recruiting educators, and he presented district data information at community meetings. So that was some of the accomplishments that we noted in our evaluation for him. And then in Standard 2, which is instructional leadership 2024, he scored developing in instructional leadership. The superintendent, and the description is, the superintendent supports and builds a system committed to shared values and beliefs, focused on teaching and learning, where performance gaps are systematically eliminated over time and every student graduates post-secondary ready. And so the goals that we set for him in 23-24, they were set last year for this year. And so one of these, for example, the superintendent is to model and promote high expectation with leadership and faculty for academic excellence. And he was to get out of CSI status, raise the ACT score by at least 1 point, and ensure 100% of our students are college and career ready. So these are some of the goals, and here are some of the comments that we made in our analysis of him. The superintendent's team made progress to improve academic achievement by increase the ACT score by 0.5 points. So, it was a 50% increase in the goal. However, college and career readiness decreased during the past school year. All schools are off CSI status, while on TSI for African American subgroup. Mr. Watts has continued beginning of the year and end of the year retreats that have demonstrated to be successful. Let's see, and the MAP and iReady data demonstrated growth in all 3 schools. This growth is expected to continue with the processes in place. And so Newport Primary School met all MAP and iReady school growth goals. Let's see, and all subgroups in kindergarten met all the goals except Hispanic reading conditional growth. So this is some of the evidence that we are required to list that supports our assessment of the superintendent. The high school demonstrated the least growth of all 3 schools, so should be a priority this year. So as you can see, he met many of his goals, but the score is also affected by goals that were not met. And standard 3 is cultural leadership. We assessed him as accomplished. And so let's see here, and this standard says the superintendent understands and acts on the important role as a systems culture has in the exemplary performance of all schools. The superintendent understands the people in the district and community, how they came to their current state, and how to connect with their traditions in order to move them forward to support the district's efforts to achieve individual and collective goals. So these are descriptions of the standard, and so the expectation. So this is what we look for when we're looking at his performance for the past school year. And so the comments are the superintendent communicates strong ideas and beliefs about teaching and learning with all stakeholders and operates from those beliefs. The superintendent supports and engages in positive cultural traditions of the community by attending various school events of each school. For example, he's, always at the Memorial Day Parade, bright and early, and ready to participate. He goes to Seeds of Hope, which is the event sponsored by the Mentoring Plus, and he attends many other activities. The superintendent addressed community neighborhood groups as well as the Newport Board of Commissions. And so some of these things are, as you can see with the standards, overlap. Let's see, and the superintendent continues to meet with his student advisory group and lunch meetings with parents. And let's see here, another accomplishment we felt worth mentioning was the superintendent accompanied students on a trip to Washington, D.C. And as the board, we discussed how important that is because so many of our children in Newport do not get outside of Newport. And, his effort to do this when he was a principal here, actually, there was a young man that actually moved to Texas. And he said if Mr. Watts had never taken him out of Newport, he probably would have moved to Texas. So we felt like that's a very important recognition for Mr. Watts because it's opening our students' eyes to dream and to look at life beyond their current circumstances. Let's see, 4 was human resource leadership. We assess them as developing, and this standard is the superintendent ensures the district is a professional learning community with processes and system in place that result in recruitment, induction, support, evaluation, development, and retention of highly effective, diverse staff. The superintendent uses distributed leadership to support teaching and learning. So this is what this assessment is based on. Let's see, and it plans for professional development and engages in district leadership succession planning. And there were goals set for him, so our comments are based on the goals that we set for him. The superintendent attendance improved 2023 to 2024 with the student attendance, with the superintendent's programs. Newport High School attendance improved by 1 point. The primary attendance increased by 0.5, and intermediate attendance increased by 0.5. So we were very excited about that with the challenges that we have in the past with attendance. These are, there was that saying that, they need to be here to learn, and so this is very important. Despite lower turnover, the biannual teacher survey revealed there is much room for growth, especially at the high school with regard to culture impact survey. The superintendent advocated for tuition reimbursement and continuing education for teachers, keeping the budget in mind. And then the superintendent promoted diversity, equity, inclusion, and equality in each building. The superintendent implemented processes for hiring, inducting, and mentoring new teachers, new school executives, and other staff. And one thing I want to point out, when we look at, we as the board know that he's not doing all these things by himself, but he is held accountable for all this. And so therefore, even though we're reading it as the superintendent did it, we know that he could not have done it without his staff. So just to make that clear. Okay. Let's see. The superintendent presented a plan for salary increases to keep Newport Independent School District competitive to help reduce teacher turnover. Okay, and then number 5 is the last one I'll probably read. Managerial leadership, he was accomplished. And some of the comments, the superintendent addressed board concerns with issues, when issues raised. With the superintendent's leadership, each department reviewed policies to make adjustments to change as necessary. All policy changes were presented to the board for approval, which is part of that managerial leadership, you know. Let's see, and district programs were reviewed by the superintendent for effectiveness and discontinued if ineffective. For example, the NWEA was recommended to be discontinued. The superintendent oversaw the technology needs were addressed as needed, and we continue to be a one-to-one district. The buildings and grounds are well maintained. The superintendent oversaw the first phase of the football stadium project was completed with planning beginning for phase 2. And it says the superintendent has developed a working relationship with the Newport Police Department. And it says despite lower turnover, biennial teacher survey revealed there's much room for growth, which we've already addressed, and because as I said, these things overlap. But, you know, and collaborative standard 6, collaborative leadership, he scored exemplary. Mr. Watts scored that last year. He has maintained that standard this year, and we're very excited that he continues to show exemplary leadership and collaboration. One of the things listed is when his partnership with Mount St. Joe to develop and NKU to develop programs to promote diversity in education by increasing opportunities for all students that qualify and are interested in college, in attending college. Develop professional relationship with Newport City officials and the mayor, and he partnered with St. Elizabeth System to provide mental health services to teachers. So those are some of the examples that we feel that he has done, and the list is many. And then the last one is standard 7, influential leadership. He scored exemplary as well. And this standard is based on the superintendent promotes the success of teaching and learning by understanding, responding to, and influencing to the larger political, social, economic, legal, ethical, and cultural context. From this knowledge, the superintendent works with the board to define mutual expectations, policy, and goals to ensure the academic success for all students. And you all have, many have witnessed that he provides the boards with regular updates on what's happening in Frankfurt, what's going on with policies, what's going on in the climate. For example, he did an excellent job in explaining this challenging Amendment 2, and we want to commend him for his continued success as the superintendent of Newport Schools. So I have read the summative evaluation for the record. The board has approved it, and it is signed, and this document will go on the records as the superintendent evaluation for the year 2023 to 2024. We also did set some goals for Mr. Watts, and those goals, it's also very lengthy, but those goals are on record, and the board will continue to follow those goals. And some of those goals do have measures in them, and we will periodically probably review those at board meetings, just so you can know that, and he will do that as well. What we typically charge him to do is that, you know, as he provide us with those updates, they should line up with the goals. So the evidence that you all present at these meetings should line up with the goals that we set for him. All righty? Any questions, comments? Not, we'll move on. Thank you. Next on our agenda is the minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from September the 25th, October the 2nd, and October the 16th? All righty, very good. Any questions, corrections, or comments? Thank you, Ms. Klosterman, for always doing excellent minute notes. If there's no corrections, I need a motion to approve the minutes as listed.
Second.
All right, it's been moved in second, all in favor? All righty, next we have the treasurer's report, Ms. Hoover.
Good evening. You have the September financial report and the invoice report for your approval. I will note, just because we had discussed it previously, on Edison 3, extensive, tax code consolidation in the working budget. So for September, you will notice some negative available budget in, on the financial report. It'll take me a little bit of time to get those cleaned up and get the actual where I ended up budgeting, those amounts, so but I'll have to clean it for the next week.
So what specific page are you referring to?
On the financial report on pages 6 through 8.
And these negatives are because of coding, you said?
Yes.
So, okay, for example, let's see, I just want to make sure we're understanding this. So on page 7 of the financial report, for example, you have in school administrative support, is that, you have that $1,415.22, and
The next month that won't be there. Because
Okay.
I'll have the actual where I ended up putting the budget.
okay,
I just didn't have time to go through and change everything before.
okay.
So without have all of that, we have the next week or so.
And this does not affect the actual budget amount, because the money is there, it's just in the wrong spot?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
So everything is in, all of the budgeted amounts are in the correct spot, just the actuals are not.
okay,
Yes, the budgets are in the right spot, just where, things that we have already spent to date are not in the spot where I ultimately decided the best place to code that was. So that's why you're seeing the negatives. But over the next week or two, I'll work through getting all of this corrected and on the financial report at the end of October.
okay, but it's working, how does it affect the working budget? Okay,
It doesn't impact the budgeted numbers at all.
Okay.
We're just talking actual.
just the actual numbers in the financial report that we're gonna approve this?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Hey, on page 6, down at the bottom, that 0700 property, is it waiting on taxes or that negative number?
No, that's, I think that is because I decided to change the coding on the Apple. So where it actually ended up getting coded is not where
The
I
payment.
ended up budgeting the amount, so that's the second. So again, that'll be gone.
So are you trying to do more accurate coding?
Yes.
Okay,
It's something that's kind of been on my to-do list, and I've kind of done on a small scale every year since I've been here. I've probably touched about 400 codes in the past, month, and so, just kind of with our tight budget this year, I finally, just made, kind of really dig in and really get things, consolidated. And it's really just, we're really talking like, is something going in a central office code or is it going in a district-wide code?
okay,
Like the Apple lease payment, it may have been in a central office code before, but I moved it to a district-wide because it really does impact district-wide. So that's what
so
I'm kind of
the
talking
coding
about.
lines up with the purpose.
Yeah, so yeah, a little better than it had before. It wasn't that it was wrong, but after reaching out to other finance directors, everyone's kind of coding things we all have different
Yes,
rationale for where we put things, and just because I put it somewhere doesn't mean somebody else did. So, I kind of, reached out to the finance directors, kind of put a consensus and, decided on how I thought it would fit best here, and then made my final decision. So, but all the budgets are correct.
okay, very good. And I do know that from board, munis training, that it depends on who's doing the presentation, on what kind of guidance you get and the answer to your questions. So I do know that because, it's based on their style and their and their district needs. And so, they have that flexibility to code things based on, because although we're all a school district, we're independent, they're county, so there are differences in some of the coding that I do know from training, so.
Yeah, there's thousands of codes, and
Yes.
you can really drive yourself mad, how specific you want to be, and when I first got here, I kind of really wanted to be specific, and then now I'm like, I can't, we don't need to be that specific.
Yeah, I remember when they changed to munis, and I'm telling you, our finance office almost lost their mind.
Yeah.
Because, getting all this information into munis was a labor, and they had to do it, and Katie provided support, but, a lot of the finance people are there, so thank you for doing that. It is needed, and we appreciate it. It helps us, as board members, ask the right questions and know what we're looking at. So thank you for explaining that, and we'll keep a watch for this. So October, we should not see this because everything should
Correct,
be.
yes, everything will be correct.
Okay.
There are no negatives on the working budget.
I didn't think
but
so,
when you-
so I was like, wait a minute, I didn't see any.
No, yeah, there's no negatives on the working budget, but that's at a higher level than this is, so because this kind of nails down a little closer, there's,
Okay.
but not to move it on.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot. Okay, thank you. Alrighty. Okay, we have the September bank reconciliation statement, for September. Any questions for Ms. Hoover before we take action? If not, I need a motion to, pay the September invoices and to, accept the bank reconciliation statement and file the statement for audit. It's been moved in second, all in favor? Very good, thank you. And all the other, documents that are attached from Ms. Hoover is for information only. Does anybody have any questions regarding those documents? Which is the credit card and the administrative expense report. Okay, very good. And you're satisfied with that? Very good. Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Hoover. And now student learning and support services, Mr. Watts.
All right, well, tonight we're going to
expand our tuition reimbursement for this year and the, teaching abroad, you know, if we have to suspend it, then we'll next year. Any questions about that?
I don't have any questions regarding that. I think it's a necessary move, but I'm glad that you posted that it was for this year,
Yeah.
you know.
Then for the year, we are.
We'll revisit it next year.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, well, Halloween's coming up next week, and I got a call from Captain Coffin that asked us if we can participate. So I will be doing that in Thursday, so if you all are available, stop by the city building from 6 to 8. I'll share more information and get it. And so Friday, next Friday, band, someone there. Friday morning, call back concert at the school, 9:15. So 9:15 is the way. I sent you a calendar right on there. Check your calendar, so I sent you a couple of things. So those are some things that we have coming up. You can move it on. Get back in your groups. So that's all I have tonight. So next up, we will have the curriculum department. Curriculum department. Present for tonight.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Superintendent Watts. Good evening.
Good evening.
I just wanted to highlight in our report tonight our district walkthrough.
Okay.
The things that already shared our data from our state council. So I just wanted to highlight the work that we're doing around instructional round, and then just looking at our purpose and what it entails as it relates to our walkthrough and instructional round. It's just to enhance the quality and to promote professional growth across, all our schools district-wide. The initiative itself allows for us to have a structured and a collaborative approach to both observing and reflecting to improve teaching and learning practices to ensure alignment across the curriculum and content across districts and schools. Some of the things that are listed here, we're looking at our data-driven improvements, which gives us the opportunity to gather qualitative data about instructional engagement and also classroom culture. Collaboration and reflection is another key piece to our objective in terms of looking at the post-observation and encouraging reflection on practice through an instructional lens, as well as looking at ways to help identify as well as to strengthen the areas for improvement across all grades, content areas, and district-wide. Again, looking at alignment and how it relates and connects to our strategic priorities of the superintendent's work. Again, alignment in terms of district instructional practices, looking at the framework that Darla has shared several weeks in the past year recently, and then ensure that consistency and high quality teaching and learning. Then we're also looking at student support and looking at educator development through the lens of the walkthrough itself to basically help to support teachers with professional growth. So again, looking at the teacher's professional growth plan, ensuring that the professional learning that we are providing throughout the school year is in alignment to their particular individual growth goals.
Okay.
And then just basically looking at ways that the culture fosters that improvement by providing constant feedback to our teachers through the walkthrough lens, provide a collective piece of data and provide an email back to the teacher immediately after the walkthrough has happened, and then we walkthrough in our district-wide. It incorporates the superintendent watch there, our instructional coaches are two individuals that we added just last year, and that is really help improve their instructional knowledge around the work of law. And so what typically happens is the walkthrough itself, so for example, if we're in the primary and we're providing a walkthrough, the primary instructional coaches do not participate in that because we don't want to provide connected to the work that we're doing. So they get to kind of watch, but the instructional coaches from the intermediate participate, and as well as the high school participate in the primary walkthrough. And so that in turn, for the return on our investment, allows the instructional coaches to work together across the district-wide to collaborate, share ideas, strategies, and to look at how our kids are matriculating through the system in terms of reading and math and so forth. You have the link to the walkthrough indicated in the documents here. And again, our next step moving forward with our walkthrough, each school has a total, I'm sorry, yes, ma'am?
The links,
They're not working?
no, we don't have access to Google Docs. So you all have to remember that we do not have it. So, I know you all work a lot with Google Docs, but
Yeah.
we don't have access, so I just want you all to be mindful of that. I don't know, should we have them, Rusty? Can we have them? I mean,
It depends on what you know. Yeah. I have them open to just look for emails. Look at from your personal account, that's why you don't have access. Look at it from your Newport account.
well, when I hit the link, it says access denied. It comes up Google access required.
You sign in on your browser to your Newport email, that's why.
Huh?
If you sign in on your browser to your Newport email, that will.
This is the document.
We can work on it.
Yes, but I just want you all
The
to,
document, this isn't the email, this is the document,
right.
the report. A couple links there. I got kind of a question. Give me like a Cliff Note version, you're getting ready to do the walkthrough. How do you do it? I mean, do you peek around the corner and see how they do it, or you go in and sit down? How do you do it?
So how does all orchestrated Superintendent Watts provides us with the date of all the walkthroughs for the year. So each school has a total of 6 announced and 3 unannounced and 3 announced. And so from that meeting, the Superintendent Watts with the walkthrough team and the principal of that school, the principal will provide a presentation of what they would like for us to look for in terms of our work going into the school to provide the observations and the feedback to the teachers and to the leadership. Each individual, so Katina, is assigned either 2 to 3 individuals, so it would be Ms. Sylvia, you, Mr. Kim, and Ms. Ramona. I would go into your classroom and provide an observation for about 45 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll come back collectively as a team, and then we will debrief and just kind of share what we've learned, what we've seen, because various people will have the same grade level, or the same content area, and just kind of share those ideas. And I know I wonder, Dr. in Google, we type that information in, and then it generates the report that you will receive, to see how everybody fared out.
I'm just curious how you did it. I have to do that for my
So
faculty.
we sit inside with the kids in action and the teachers providing the learning.
Yeah, good.
And that's pretty much it for our report.
Well, I appreciate the detail, and that was a great question, because I had the same question as to, how does the walkthrough happen? So I thank Mr. Pearl, and also I want to publicly thank Mr. Pearl for a lot of the work he did on the superintendent evaluation. He did a lot of work putting it together, and I thanked him personally, but I wanted to go on the record that he worked hard, and being a new board member, he took on that challenge. So I want to acknowledge him and thank him for that. He jumped right in, and it was appreciated. So, and Mr. Sutherland, it's good when you work together as a team. This was a collaborative effort, and I want to acknowledge everybody's input and effort to create this document. All right. You have a question?
Is this the first one for the walkthrough? Oh, no, this is our second year,
Okay.
for walkthrough, and then just the final note, third year, I'm sorry, I'm thinking off, sorry, the third year for our walkthrough, and each
So, the teacher, if there's a new teacher coming through and you have a walkthrough, is she also observed within that?
year.
Okay, that walkthrough.
Every teacher gets
Okay.
So the standard of the walkthrough and the expectations based on their years as a teacher, the content? No, same, that's what I want to know.
it's a level playing field
Right.
across the board, and we're just providing that feedback. The actual observations through the year will come from the principal, who evaluates them, so this is just totally different from what the, who the administrator was doing versus what the district level team is doing.
Right.
Provide that ongoing support throughout.
And you all collaborate throughout the year based on what the principal observes and what you all observe. Very good.
And although we give individual teacher feedback, it's really to look at building-wide training.
Okay.
District-wide training. So we see, questioning and critical thinking in all the classrooms, so I'm saying 7% of the classrooms. So then we found those pockets, so we can get that stuff. And then individualized feedback.
Oh, very good.
Walkthroughs are about training.
Very good, very good.
So any additions for PPA?
I'm sorry, so this is during the school day, so it started like at 8 o'clock in the morning, till about 4.
Good news, thank you. Thank you, very detailed report. One of these days, I'm gonna click that Google link and it's gonna open, right?
We should.
Madam Chair, members of the board, give a copy of the services report for October. Any questions?
Yes. I do have a question. If a student is not doing well at the high school and they want to go to the School of Innovation, do they have to withdraw from Newport High School and then enroll in Newport School of Innovation?
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, that's how that works. And they have to do it just like they get transcripts and all that, and the parent has to go through that whole process.
Yes.
Because I could ask that, and I didn't know the answer to it, so I wanted to be able to ask, because I've had parents ask me that, and I did not know.
Yes.
I thought that's how it went. I said, I'm pretty sure you probably have to withdraw, but I wanted to be sure I was giving the right information. So.
Yes. I will say that we are continuing to look at the possibility of bringing to the board, moving the School of Innovation from one time as an A5 or A5 to an A8, just because that opens up a lot of opportunities. That would actually change that process.
Okay.
You can have dual enrollments across districts, across schools. It would allow our students at the School of Innovation to participate in athletics. It would also allow us to be able to move mid-semester. Because School of Innovation, your funding for your students at the School of Innovation is based off of their schedule and the number of classes they take. Whereas in a regular in-person school, that's based on your daily attendance.
Okay.
So if I'm in Newport High School, the funding piece to the board comes from that everyday attendance as compared to the School of Innovation, where the system has some grades by semester. So one common misconception we've had is that students can move from the high school to School of Innovation just any time. And that's actually not happening, because you would lose all funding for those students for the entire semester. So we have 10 students, if it's 1,300, we can do the math there to kind of see that. I will say that our teacher at the School of Innovation is still getting open to building and funding and different types of scheduling. So we're really working on the kinks now, so a solid plan before we run.
All right, thank you.
Quick question on page 3, student peer data.
Yes, sir.
Remind me again, what's tier 1, 2, and 3?
So it's much like, what is presented, she talks about the NPSS, pyramid and triangle. You're really looking for the largest portion, to be around 80%. So that's,
MTSS.
okay, I forget TSS all the time, I forget what it's standing for. Multi-tiered support. Yes.
Thank you.
So
Because, you know, we're live and people watch and they don't know, you know, the acronyms. So I'm trying to get us out of the behavior of using acronyms when we have an audit.
bear with. So the green portion there, that's where you want to see your university. You want to see really around 80% of students at any point in time falling within the green.
Okay.
The yellow usually comes to about 15%. And then the red would be your 5% of students that are the most at risk. So when you look at this data, it's a little bit different in that we'll just look at Newport, for example. You've got two sets of numbers there. You've got the ones at the top and the ones at the bottom. The ones at the top, those are at the end of attendance month 1. The next step there is at the end of attendance month 2. So you'll see the date September 6th, you'll see October 4th.
Mm-hmm.
What you'll notice is when you look at the green on this top set of numbers, 370 students, or 98.67% of the population there, had 0 behavior referrals. So in the next set, 5 students as of that date had 1 behavior referral, which when I think that's 98%, and then I had basically there's 99% fall within the universal range. In this year 2, you'll see that in September, there were no students that had between 2 and 5 referrals. And then when we looked at October data, 2.9%. And then again, when we look in the red, we're not finding students who are in that intensive need based on solely behavior referrals. And so our principals do a phenomenal job of not looking at just one piece of data, they look at multiple sets of data. So we do have a program built within Infinite Campus, which is our student information system, called Insight. So it really, that's another tool that we use, and I'm happy to include that report that looks like it's different. We also use the Safe Schools report, and that tells us the type of events that are occurring. That is also built within Infinite Campus. And, but I did want you to see this one. We do this, it's actually this page. We plug all of this data into this particular spreadsheet. But this is something that's provided to the school that we make, running a record of that, just for us to be able to look at the trend. What you see at the bottom is also a portion to that, and that's just because we want to track and see what our trends are over the years. And so you'll see they're related from the 21-22 school year to the 24-25 school year. This is just one we use. If we use our tiered data, our insight, our safe schools, within the month of October, and then again in the month of April, we do a full behavior review. We look at every single referral and look at all the trend data and begin to see if we've got any issues or trends that need to be addressed. So we do that twice.
When you look at those trends, like for example, you look at the high school, they went from 14 to 54 students.
Right, so they went from 2.6% of students to 10% of students.
Right.
I would also point out, if you attendance month 1 is always running fewer instructional, and that's simply because that calendar starts on the first day that teachers come in. So for us, the first day was all the way down August 12th, and then we start counting in for the day off. Well, that before we get there. So there are limited days in month 1, as compared to a full 20 instructional days in attendance.
be that big of a jump. If you look at the trend, just
Mhm.
kind of see,
No.
okay, is there a particular behavioral issue that's being more prevalent? You know, it could be a lot of different ones, or there could be, you know, for example, fighting,
Mhm.
that type of thing, so.
Right, yes, and that's another report that's also included in this particular data that's by the principal. They know it, they also use those reports and have some of their own as well. Honestly, 10% in tier two is that's good data. I mean, that's where we want to be within that yellow. You will see here, I look at the same time period for Newport High School, for the same number of instructional days 1 year ago, they had 228 referrals, and in 24-25, they were down to 196. And we'll really see if we back up to the school year 21-22, that next year we started implementing our alternative standard discipline. The principals all have some different interventions that they really put in at their school, and you'll see a huge reduction in the number of referrals. And just remember, referrals doesn't necessarily mean that some things, that a child feels something, that's just the first step, right? Students still have the right to be processed.
Thank you.
All right, I did see in your report about appointing a board member for the calendar committee.
Yes.
Just wanted to make it so when we get to take an action, because it's not listed as part of the action item. At least I didn't, huh? Okay. Well, since it's something that they have to bring to the board, let's start putting it under the consent agenda so we can do it that way. Just to make it consistent. Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, good evening. You have a copy of my report. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for,
What's that extra called, top high in plain sight, Frank?
This is the gentleman, his name, his real name is Jermaine Holloway, or Galloway, I think Galloway. He is probably the best presenter I've ever seen in terms of all of the available drugs that are out on for access for our students. All of the different vaping stores that you see, all of them basically have drugs. It's an unregulated market right now. So when you see kids go into vape stores, there are combinations of things that they're selling that are essentially variants of marijuana, fentanyl, but this gentleman, I watched him in person over the summer, and by far the best I've ever seen in terms of just his amount of knowledge and just research that he's put into just finding the drugs. They're in every corner store that you see that sells vape products. So he's doing an update webinar, so I'm going to join that. I sent it on to our principal to join as well, and our SROs. Again, I highly encourage them to join in and watch.
Yes.
By far, he's the best I've ever seen.
because I think it was in the news recently that a 13-year-old died because a 16-year-old gave her a pill and it was fentanyl.
Right. Yeah.
And so our kids are taking drugs and they're being treated. I had a loved one who was lost due to, people are, putting fentanyl in everything. And so, our kids need to be, so our staff and our kids, we all need to be aware of what is going on, because I think it was, maybe last year, that young boy died of a fentanyl overdose, and they said it was allergic reaction to strawberries. I think he was like 6 years old, and the investigation showed that he had been exposed to the fentanyl. The fentanyl was in the home, and you don't even have to. Yes, and that's right. And so so it's a very serious matter, and I appreciate you in educating yourself.
Well, it's never changed.
Yeah,
Every
it
month,
is,
the product
it is.
comes out, new packaging, and as I said, it's unregulated right
Well,
now.
after you attend this, can you kind of share with the board what you learned and
Sure.
some
Yeah,
of
I'll give you copies of
Okay.
stuff that I'm able to get. You'd be quite surprised at what you can literally walk to here in Newport, to get. And it's all legal per se right now, but it's not regulated. So, I don't think the government knows how to do it yet. Because it's coming so fast, and it's changing so fast. And it's such a moneymaker at the same time. That business and industry is just going to continue to grow, and their advertising is just going to get stronger and stronger in a field of young
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, because back in my era, they were lacing it with THC.
Well, that's pretty common now.
Yeah.
The Delta 8, Delta 9, all those things are just incorporated right into these things now, and it's almost commonplace.
Well, again, thank you. Great report. I know we'll be talking about phase 2 of the stadium. Okay, all right, thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Maines? Well, I see the bocce tournament coming up.
November the 1st.
Yes, yes,
Sunday
yes.
is closed.
Oh, man, so good.
How would we get a parent survey? Parent survey.
Every year, Kentucky Department of Education sends a link to your district, and the district goes to the website, our website, and we ask parents to go to the website and fill out parent survey. And we also encourage during the ARC meeting, if they will fill out the survey. The parents fill out the survey at home, or they will do survey at school. The results are sent to us in the fall. Survey opens up in February, and it closes 30, and our results are sent.
Is it possible to send that link out like in a mass email to all of the parents?
They did, our caseload managers do. They do that. So, website, they send it out to the also, and then we provide it to everybody else.
I think that's probably why we get such high results, because they're very intentional about making sure parents see it and respond to it. Okay, so with that.
Highly encouraged. We're not there to complete the survey.
No, but good turn.
Our participation rates, we are higher than the state participation rate. Typically, that's not out yet. If you look at the parent survey, the silver offerings, the rate of food services and results, we are at 98.44, and the state of Kentucky is 2.5. So they don't have this district parent survey
And of note is on a scale of 1 to 5, where 1 equals I don't understand the IEP process, and 5 is I fully understand. You know, we average a rating of 4.67, and that is commendable because, you know, that IEP is very involved, did it, you know, and so it's a lot of paperwork and there's a lot of, the process is very expensive. So for the parents to say that they understood it means that the staff did a great job of explaining it and helping them interpret, you know, what this means for their child. And it also, I know that they also ask for input from the parents. So, yes.
The typical ARC is around an hour. It can't be done in 1 hour, but it's typically 1.5 hours. Sometimes we're not 3.5 to 4. And tonight, today, it's 30 pages. Individual educational plan. It's designed to support the students in their special access to improve their academic achievement. But with the home principle of we support students in other ways. In a co-health environment, where the teachers will move to the classroom, and also we have resources for the students with the special in a 1-to-9 ratio.
All right, very good. Thank you. Any more questions? Thank you. Great report. All right. Let's see here. Old business, new business, quite a bit. And we have the personnel report. All right. Any questions? I do know that we have a presentation regarding the BG2 Phase 2 renovation and the bid documents.
Yes, appreciate the opportunity to address you all again. We have the bid docs for the city Phase 2, this is the restaurant building, ready to go out for bid on that one. I can answer any questions, but we really didn't change anything, 2 months ago, there was a training room, needs a technical drawing. BG2 and 3 are just the financial form, and so I can answer any questions, like, we'll leave out and get the details you like.
Well, there was some individuals in the public that saw the design of the Phase 2, and the question to me was, is that the best we can do for the money we're spending? So can you speak to that?
So the estimate, I believe, is about $900,000 for a brand new building. The number of bidders. You can get it.
But it meets the needs as far as like the concession stand and the restroom facilities. From what I saw, what you showed us, but
So we have to paint red and black.
so the footage and the bathrooms, how many bathrooms and stalls are in there? I think?
9 women stalls, 4 men stalls, 4 years.
Okay,
dictated by the code.
Okay.
Based on so, those are applications.
And the concession stand, will allow equipment inside, storage space, all that?
There's some storage for, food supplies, concession materials, but in terms of the athletic equipment, no, not yet.
No, not the, I'm
Right.
just speaking
But there-
just strictly concession stand.
It's got, 3 volt stations and sink in it. Assume buying, the whole product, whatever.
Okay, thank you. Just, I want to have answers when people approach me with these comments or questions or concerns.
We get that a lot, I mean, it's 900,000, I can go advantage to that. Give you commercial construction, spread.
Differently. Because there's different standards you have to meet.
Correct.
Because commercial building and residential buildings don't have the same building codes, do they,
Correct.
Mr. Attorney? Yes.
And there's a lot of infrastructure that needs to be added in terms of the water supply, sewage, all of that. Also, it's already in place, and it would bring the construction prices down some as well. But since this is a new location and the facility is so old, we really couldn't use the old supply lines, sewage, and so forth. But now that it's a different design, and we're actually taking the sewage in a different direction than we had in the past, so all of that happened.
And given the location of our stadium and the challenges we have being in the floodplain, we have to be a little bit creative. Right? Right, thank you.
To your point as well, with KDE requirements, for example, well, bond, full-time, for instance, things like that, all, don't have a residential or
So repeat that, KDE requires what?
they require bid bonds, they require performance bonds, that basically if the contractor can't do the job, goes under to the bond. Excellent.
And who pays for that?
Well,
If
the
in,
contractor pays for it.
but if in, but it,
Included in their bid.
Right.
They pay a percentage of the, $1 million contract. Things like that.
and these are the details as board members we need when people approach us about the cost of things. So that was the reason I asked the question, because, they don't see you. So I appreciate you sharing that and explaining that, because Mr. Ed Davis is out a lot. He gets a lot of questions. I get a lot of questions, Tim and Ms. Sylvia and Mr. Sutherland. We do get a lot of questions about the decisions we make. And so the more you tell us, the more details that you give us from behind the scenes, the better we are able and equipped to answer these questions. Because I didn't think about the fact that we had to do a whole new plumbing, system because of where it's located. And so that explains a lot. And most people, in your common thinking, you don't think about those details. You just see this plain building, you go, oh my God, that building's talking about. But there's a lot of behind the scene costs that is not, you would not think about. So thank you, Mr. Maines, for bringing that up. Appreciate it.
Another, and this, project, kind of is like that, everything is when it's going to school projects. The sub have to, there's background check, you hate to say it, a lot of persons might be putting the roof on and they have a fire foul, you can't use them. If they're here on a, arguably not for the legal purposes, which there are a lot of roofing and stuff being done in trade, they're not eligible. So it doesn't make-
And these are KDE,
these are rules that we don't have as easy of a job for us to stuff to get that if all of us can get a roof on our house, we've got a better chance of getting sub and Newport.
right, because of the restriction and guidelines that are put in place when it comes to working on school property.
And there are there's a lot of people that did something dumb one day in life, 10 years ago, that have a felony that probably one of the things never got any funds, but, and therefore they probably work for that company all the time, but when it comes to Newport School, all of a sudden, only think of that job because when you were 19 years old, you were something stupid, and, you know, it does, we do experience it when we have delays and stuff. It's already a workforce that's hard to get, tradespeople are, it's just not, there's not them doing the trade. And you do take away the ability for the tradespeople out there, some of them aren't eligible to be a sub on our job. That also, I don't think, to this one, I don't think the public fully understands that. There's a lot of folks that maybe get something out in the past, that unfortunately they're not able to work at school. And again, I'm not saying that
Right,
it's not for safety, but it is a different standard than what we
Right.
all have.
and that has a lot to do with the bids that we accept, based on those guidelines and requirements. And, you know, we've been questioned on why we, you know, went with this contractor, why did you accept that bid? But all these things are vetted, you know, and before they get to the board, so a lot of those bids don't even come to us because those contractors are vetted based on the standards, and they don't make it to this process, correct?
Correct. Well, after the bid opening, we take the bid back to our office and we will find who's code and find all the mistakes on, like that. Sometimes throw a bid out. To your question earlier, some of them are KE regulations, some of them are all. All over. It's over. Most of them are the problem in the past.
Thank
You all
you.
have probably have less bidders than, we have private clients.
Yeah.
Commercial projects, it's way more competitive. Ironically, the cost of construction is significantly lower, it's more competitive to get, but I do believe there are numbers, like for example, let's say, Ed and I started a drywall company, it's really good, but then we're told we gotta go buy bond and insurance. I mean, hey, we know how to write credit. We're in it. Some of it is, again, it's there to protect, but it also makes it where some people are like, it's not worth it.
Right, right.
And how do you come up with a solution? Nothing in Frankfurt, but the problem at the very best equipped to figure out ways to streamline the help to where school construction projects are more competitive to get more bidders.
Thank you.
Not anymore, they kind of did away with the prevailing wage, now, you know, I think our wages are probably pretty similar just to supply and demand.
And to the point of the discussion we've been having, you're not gonna get a contractor, a small residential contractor. You almost have to have an office to be able to even just do the paperwork for KDE. At that point, most contractors have an office or indirectly, you're almost getting more union.
I took a class at KSBA on these bids and contracts. That was the presentation. And the paperwork was unbelievable. It was, I just, the board members, and we were flabbergasted as to what people have to do, you know, when it comes to bidding, and being qualified to bid and all the paperwork that has to be done, in this process. So it is a class that KSBA does offer, about, you know, bidding.
Even a roof, little roof project, roof might, bid, the tax they turn in might be
Or if you get a roof on your house,
Right,
probably called purchase order.
right.
We agreed to put a roof on, it's handwritten.
show up the next day.
Right, tear off the dumpster, you know, you'll have shingle.
All right, any more questions regarding this, BG 2 and 3? I think you had some, Ed, did you have any questions regarding the,
I do have a question. We go to the sectors. We are looking to come into this stuff, correct? I mean, this is budget item.
We've already committed to, you all have already approved the which is one that's submitted to, there's kind of approving the bid package of what the contract is.
You're not committing, we come back and buy.
Oh,
You
yeah.
aren't committed to have. The only thing I had to mention was we'll be back next month. CPE is out for bid currently. Back. We're not.
Okay.
Just not make that city.
All righty. Thank you. See, any questions regarding the working budget? And then the Newport, MOUs, which are referred to as Memorandum of Understanding, with Covington Partners, Family Care Counseling Solutions, and these are all, business partners that we have worked with in the past. I think the commitment is renewed every year in the school year. Now, Southgate Independent, have we done their special ed? Is this new or? Yeah, I know, I thought we did it last year. Okay. Okay. All right.
Oh, 6.2.
Is there any cost to the district for this service to Southgate?
Yes, students receive related services such as but exclusively occupational therapy, speech language therapy, physical therapy.
And, but we get reimbursed through,
They pay it, Southgate.
that's what I was looking for.
Yes, that is part of $30,000. Yeah, $30,000. And we're getting the agency down.
Yes, I knew we were getting that, but I wanted to be on the record. You know.
And we 15
Thousand.
all, we invoice them in all.
So is that
Year.
per school year is what the, memorandum of understanding, but it doesn't, talk about the cost. We get that, and, this says per school year, so for this year, each, that's what I was
Yeah,
looking
for
for
each student.
each
it'll be
student.
30,000.
Yeah, I was looking for that. I was like, I thought I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, but, okay. All right. Very good, very good. We're becoming a very, thought out district for our special services. Yes, yes, yes,
We rated like one of the best in the state right here.
yes, yes. Very good. Any more questions regarding, Brandon, I trust you looked at all these documents that require my signature?
I mean,
All righty. And the service agreement with RSA Advisors.
yeah, I'm assuming that's the one they use statewide, probably like the language in there, but if that's what they use in the school district, I assume all. I don't like any professional.
I do not either.
To seek to indemnify the screw ups, I as an attorney don't have that. I don't like anybody that says we're gonna provide a professional, it'd be like a doctor, oh, I'm coming in to, do your surgery, but I'm gonna have you sign if I
mess it up real bad.
Right.
But is that, I'm assuming that's the use also, is that right?
And then we districts use RSA.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, almost all of Northern Kentucky and a lot of states use RSA, so I hate to assume that that would be my assumption, same contract system, y'all.
Okay, we'll talk about this a little later. Okay. Well, when's this service agreement needs to be signed? Are we on a deadline?
It is through August 5th, 2027. There is,
So,
KDE guidance does, in generally with governing the law, do like entities do not under the contract speak their respective terms. It basically forward binding future board.
yes,
Even a 3-year contract was in the last time. The 3-year contract we did years ago.
well, we're going to pin it. Because I need more information. Because I don't remember seeing that indemnify and hold harmless language in the last contract, and I need to be able to really look at that.
Yeah, the insurance adjuster and one comes out.
So what will, you said there's a deadline, what's the deadline?
We won't be able to sell bonds for our current budget. They're
I mean,
Are we going out there with somebody?
saving anything, yeah. I mean,
December,
well, if we need to have a special meeting to revisit before, we can do that. Unless the other board members are okay with it.
Know that much about it. Comfortable one way or the other.
So, Mr. Bulker, in your legal mind, and what is your recommendation on this service agreement?
It's your all's call, and I'm knowing the Russell whether they want to fully fit on in the center that that's what they're using, and all of them. You know, the fees are set, I mean, you reference the fee chart and all that.
Yeah, I saw that. They reference KDE quite a bit in the language.
So, I mean, I think it's whether or not you, I don't think that if you told them we didn't want to do 3 years and then set out, whether you feel comfortable, you want to continue with it, and you want to, like, whether you want to go for it. I don't know if there's savings to be had or not, if that's another one, I can't remember.
Well, we did,
A couple years ago,
yeah, we did,
players in the market. Compass.
yeah. And we actually, they both came to the meeting and did a presentation to the board. But I don't remember that being 3 years ago.
I don't know if there's, you know, I feel like the architect, you know, will negotiate fees, you know, I don't know what, I can't recall that meeting, I was in the meeting, I can't remember, I don't remember if there was a discount, if people were willing to negotiate off the fee schedule, I don't remember.
I just remember I thought there were 3 presenters at that meeting. And RSA was one.
We had 3 presenters when we went to Fidelity first. Davis.
Okay,
But I believe pretty possibly doing that too. I'm not aware of another
okay,
one that works with the school district. Everyone I can find is RFA.
okay. And that's what, okay. All righty.
We do have, it does speak of local council fee, I don't know what those are, you know how much that normally is?
I mean, the only reason paid to them is when we sell off and all of that included.
If you know, like what we pay, if you look at, and I only know this because, we represent our city, our community, the legal fees are sometimes astronomical. Some of these you know, it does say we pay local council fees, special tax council fees, so those are all separate. I didn't know.
The only fee we've ever paid them is what is included in the bond sale on the beach, starting with that, our last bond sale.
Yeah, it'll be in the
Fee was
bond
the,
sale.
yeah, that's definitely, we never. We don't get anything else. Only when we use them, yes, but he comes, I mean, they will still come as our advisor and meet with us. This is the same person that came and spoke about, yes, yes, correct. And, they provide, I mean, I talked to them at least once a month, just, you know, to verify, you know, I have questions, stuff like that.
So with this agreement, we don't give them, pay them anything
No, we
No,
don't
you
pay
can
them
have-
money.
You pay about a dollar.
with the bond, yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
It's
whatever
not
it's
like
going
a
to be, it's
payment
going to
fee
go
or
roll in.
something.
Right, the same as for the architect. We only pay them when we do a VG, and that service, that fee is included within the VG fee.
So say we agree to this, and then we go to sell the bonds, and we don't like what they're charging, so we have the possibility of not continuing with them, or once we sign this, we have to do that with them.
Once you sign it, you do that.
Okay.
I mean, their fees are set, I mean, when I was, if you look at the schedule, the local council fees, special tax council, I have to figure out a bond issue, what that is, what that is.
Yeah.
It's the legal world of bonds is a very lucrative one. It's like,
Carbon credit.
yeah, it's based a lot on the value, it's like if I sell $100,000 house, or sell $1 million house, the contract writing is the same, but one is a $6,000 fee, one is $60,000 fee.
Really?
So it's, their bond counsel, again, I'm not referring to Rob, referring to the attorney. And again, that all would roll in, but that doesn't impact you all, and whatever that is. Because it means you gotta borrow an issue more to pay than you gotta bill in part. I don't know if they are. It's usually a percent of things that come to it. A lot of times you can negotiate them down, but I don't know who those folks are that they utilize.
I don't know what is there in this. I'm sorry.
Well, the indemnification, language, the sole remedy, so, I'm trying to get the gist of why they put this language in there.
And I guess I'm a little more conscious of it because, again, not so much in our world, but in IRB world, there's issues pop up of late. And I've seen there are involving potential litigation, again, I'm not saying it's, but it's the indemnification, I mean, if something was messed up.
Well, see, and then we get down to the last, The remedies set forth in this section 9 will be the sole remedies available to either party against the other in connection with damages suffered by it. So it's kind of like, you know, whoever's at fault, you know, or if they're exposed, you know, their work, because it talks about a claim against them, the liabilities and damages, you know, so.
Therefore, by all seems not identification. Again, I don't know, I just,
But they are an approved firm by KDE,
yeah,
and so,
I might feel an extra liability identification.
right, and typically, you know, it will identify, there's language in it that identify who is the identifying party, the definitions of the terms used in this contract is typically, and I don't see that. That's what I was looking for. Here it is.
So the name refers to the identifying party that would be passed ordinance.
Right.
Brandon, how can we suffer damage? How would we suffer damage from them or them from
In the bond world, if, for example, a bond were issued erroneously, maybe they weren't properly approved, maybe maybe the financial outlook was improper with the bondholder, if there was a default. Basically, they are representing, whenever you issue bonds, somebody is doing a representation of certified that the bond is going to be good and payable. I mean, it'd be rare.
Okay.
If you're gonna, when did you sell? In December or January? I would assume you already
We
have
would sell, if we can sell anytime after the, final bid.
Oh, so you're talking, if they approve the bid, with the dollar amount.
Right, that would be December, but probably January.
I mean, and it's not, I'm not against, the contractual agreements. I just want clarity because there have been contracts that this board has negotiated and language has been removed. But we have not had an opportunity to have that conversation with RSA, and I don't recall seeing this language before, and it could be, I mean, it's been a couple of years since we looked at it, but I just want to be clear of what we are signing and what we're agreeing to identify, because this puts the district at liability. So I just think we need to be clear. So my recommendation is that we table it, give me and Brandon and Mr. Dwight time to talk, you know, about the language and get a clear understanding of why this is in there. And then we can always, our next meeting is not till November, I think it was the 19th or the 20th, whatever.
You move it up because of
Yeah, we can move it. We only have one in November because of Thanksgiving. I mean, yeah.
you just move it up to our program.
Right. So is that too late? Or, I mean, we can always meet on the 13th. Yeah, we could always do it. Because we have a Newport Education Foundation meeting on the 6th. So we could have a special meeting for the board Cause what time is that, 6 or 6:30? It's six.
Now, I'm not a financial guru, but if you read the projections of interest rates, they more you sort of push it out a little, and then they predicted at least one more reduction. You know, obviously, if rates are not achieved, rates are higher right now than they were in the year.
So in other words, it said we need to have this signed before you can sell any bonds, correct?
Yes, I mean, per Mr. Salisbury, the term language, et cetera, are the same as before. There's a 30-day cancellation notice. But our original one expired in August.
And it was 3 years?
Yeah, we would be in 2021 when we had.
Yeah, you're right, you're right. Okay,
30 days to get clarification, if it's something we've got to be done.
we can revisit. Very good, very good. Thank you for doing that. So I'm good, so. Okay, anything else? I think we've talked about suspending for now, the reimbursement, the teaching abroad. There's also surplus of 10 framed pictures and 5 damaged rolling chairs. The board has approved that to be surplus. So any more questions regarding the consent agenda item?
What is Stoic Help? SCOIC Help. The last MOU right above where I said like
Stoic Health and Wellness.
yeah, what is that?
Mental health therapy, I think that is experiencing more.
Yeah, I think those are under Jennifer,
Yes.
and she left the room.
No, she's here, I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Yes, because I thought I saw that in her report, I think.
She is.
I think that was in her report.
Interesting to be verified. It will be in addition to, in the event that North Key is able to provide us with a counselor on a basis. But in the meantime, yes, we do have a one-year agreement with North Key, and they are working on getting us someone, but, I'll do something fair.
But we won't have dual contracts going, will we?
This will be in addition to, they've been unable to fill that position, something they are working on. But we have continued to vet, therapy companies and health providers to increase what we have. So we're continuing to try to increase the number of adults. But for this specifically, it would be right now replacing more than because they've been unable to get it.
I have a question here, is, remember, when the argument says, the school is not responsible for paying for service, by facility.
It's not reimbursed.
How do we pay for it?
We're not, anything like that, they'll be billing, and private insurance. They're going to charge for family, they're going to charge. So that's pretty much.
If we did this, and say North Key comes up with somebody, if we had enough students that needed it, can we utilize both services?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our agreement, with North Key says that we will fill them first, that do all of it will be filled, and essentially we will fill them on you. But there is no charge, and that they will provide us with a therapist no less than what they produce. That's not occurred yet. So we are moving forward.
Well, thank you. All righty. I need everybody good with the consent? I need a motion to approve consent agenda items, 1 through 13, with the understanding that the service agreement with RSA will be reviewed, and if there's any concerns, we will revisit. Good with that? All right. Wait a couple days. And we can talk, set up a meeting. All righty? Okay. Got a motion? It's been moved in second, all in favor? All righty. Oh, we forgot to add the district calendar committee. We need to appoint a board member. And my recommendation is,
I've done it before, I had used members, well, some of the
yes, Ed Davis. So I need a motion to appoint Mr. Ed Davis to be on the calendar committee. It's been moved in second, all in favor? All right, very good, very good. I tell you, this guy is just all over Newport and very committed to the city of Newport and the students. So we're just excited to have you on the board, you know. So let me see, upcoming meetings. Our regular meeting is November the 20th. And our regular meeting in December is December 18th. So because of the holidays, we typically have one meeting per month. But stay tuned, that could change. So, but you all may not need to be here. So, and the Education Foundation Committee meeting board members is November the 6th at 6 o'clock. All righty. Any other? Oh, I did want to. Oh my goodness. I wanted to give a shout out. And I forgot what it was. What did I give a shout out? Go ahead.
I had a shout out. I really feel parent who was highly impressed with the young scholar children at Northern. Kind of funny, she's one of my students I had in preschool. We had to do anything about it. She said, "Do I know you?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Did have my daughter." She showed me the child. I have a couple parents who've got kids in that program, and very, very impressed. Think that it's wonderful that we could have a program like that for our children. So I just want to give a shout out to the Young Scholars Program and the parents and students that are in that program.
And then also I want to, Abby, our student board member, extends her apologies for not being here, but she had a mandatory dance session she had to be at. You know, she's an awesome young lady, and she was just so sorry that she had to miss it. So I'm sorry, I can't remember my shout out. I had a very trying day. I don't know if any of you know, but John Runyon, who is well known and well loved throughout the Newport community, large family, many of them graduated from Newport. He passed away in his services for today, and I'm telling you, they had to have that thing at a community center, because there was just so many people. Parking was unfortunate, but he was a wonderful, wonderful contribution to the Newport community. Him and his wife spent many years serving our Newport kids, you know, through his coaching. I know at least 3 generations, and you know, 2 of my children were benefited from his, because they were a family. You know, he picked up kids for practice and games. They made multiple trips to pick up our kids to make sure they got to practice, make sure they got to the game. So we went to say goodbye to him and celebrate his life today. I'm sure you. I'm sure. And yeah, so it was a very nice event. I think that's it. Go ahead.
Okay. I'd just like to say, this past Saturday, Arbor Day, the folks was here on the school property in front of the building, and in the parking lot, we planted 26 trees. Total, we had great attendance. members from throughout the community. Dr. Michael was there, there are two was there. We had a family from Brazil who was new to our district. We had a family who had flown into Ken Blink. They've been, the Kirsten Schwartz, the mother, had been part of our community here, and they flew in from Los Angeles, and they came to help us plant trees as well. So the trees are out in the parking lot, they're all named, and this is because of a grant that Newport, along with our city of Newport, received $1 million from the Inflation Reduction Act. So we have $1 million of trees we planted in our community, and one of the first places that we planted was here at our school. So yeah, I mean, it's and the participation from the community was tremendous. The community recognizes how important we are to the community and how important we are to the city. And I want to thank everyone for being there. And it's a really big thing. There's going to be plantings going on from now till about the middle of November, all throughout the city, with various groups who are members of the community. So, thank you, everyone, who was there, and to all the trees that are going to provide shelter and good feelings for decades to come back. We made a difference this year. And I have one more thing before we go. I want to give a shout out to Mr. Robbins, the director of our band, and Ms. Jones, the director of our cheerleading squad, for representing us so well at all of the sporting events. It's a wonderful thing. They are a good representation of our school and of our city. I just want to thank everyone for that. Thank you.
And I'm so glad I let him go because I remembered my shout out. Our students' artwork was at Blink.
Yeah.
And that is like a huge deal. And I was so excited, and they had pictures of it, down at Washington Park in the gazebo. And it looked absolutely amazing. And I thought, wow. So I just was very excited. That Miss Hofstetter, that's how you pronounce her name? She is amazing. I mean, I visit the primary school all the time just for the artwork because it's amazing. So that was my shout out. I was so proud of our kids to be a part of. I mean, Blink is just like a really big deal, and it's growing. And so Newport is on the map in Blink. So that's it. I need a motion to adjourn. It's been moved in second. All in favor?